if you can't already tell by the shirt with Optimus Prime on it, what I'm here to talk about, because it's in the title, and it is my after action review of Transformers Rise of the Beast, which is still out in theaters. Now, at the time of this recording, it's been over a week since this film has been out. With that being said, there are going to be a little spoilerish things out there, so you've been warned. But then again, a lot of people can Google the plot. A lot of people go on YouTube to see what happens because you can pretty much see everything on the internet. So without further ado, I'm about to jump into my ups and my downs and what I would like to see with the series and franchise moving forward. So first and foremost, my first up is Transformers. What more can you say? Who doesn't enjoy seeing giant robots beat the crap out of each other on a big screen, a bunch of explosions and special effects? Two, just like Bumblebee, it's a huge improvement from the Michael Bay versions of Transformers. It really is. If you don't know, this film is a sequel to Bumblebee, and Bumblebee serves as a reboot from Michael Bay's Transformers. And I actually like that because I felt like it's catching the heart and soul of what is Transformers, especially from the Generation 1 perspective. For guys like me who grew up watching this series in the 1980s. My third note, Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. What more can you ask for? He was born to play the role. He's been voicing this guy since the 1980s, so what more could you ask for? The voice acting. All the voice actors, they brought their A game to this. You had Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, Michelle Yeoh as Air Razor, Peter Dinklage as the villain, what's his name again, Scourge, and you had Pete Davidson, almost forgot that for a minute, Pete Davidson as Mirage. And speaking of Mirage, Pete Davidson works very well as a voice actor. As a matter of fact, he sounds like one of those old school 1980s, 1990s Saturday morning cartoons voice actors. So he was very perfect for this. And the comedy that he brought with Mirage, it wasn't forced. It was it hit on all cylinders, broke the fourth wall, self-aware, whatever. Enjoyed it. The human characters, I didn't have no problem with the human characters. You have Anthony Ramos playing as Noah, who is a military veteran who was trying to find a job so he could help his mom and also take care of his sick brother who has sickle cell anemia. You have Dominique Fishback as Elena, who is an intern working at a museum, and her boss always takes credit for everything that she knows that she does. And these characters, to me, are relatable because we all been on jobs where we know the job, yet the boss takes all the credit for what we do and treats us like crap. And then from Noah's perspective, if you're a military veteran, you know how hard it could be to find a job. And you go fight for this country, whatever reason you got discharged, it's still hard to find employment, whatever, we can relate to that. And the human characters and their interaction with the Autobots and the Maximals wasn't forced, none of that stuff. It felt right in. And finally, my final up, Unicron is in this movie. What more could you say? Versus that version they tried to have for him in 2017's The Last Night, where they said Earth was Unicron. This is a huge improvement because we actually get to see a giant planet-sized eating robot. Even though he doesn't transform into his robot form, you still know that Unicron is there. And those are my ups. Now my downs, I really hate the fact that every time they do a live-action Transformers film, they always got to nerf Optimus Prime. Because in this film, Prime was getting his ass folded every time he fought Scourge. And anybody who's familiar with the character of Scourge, I mean, Scourge is a problem, but for someone like Optimus Prime, period, be it animated or live action, Prime shouldn't have no problem with this guy. Now, of course, there are no Decepticons in this movie, no Megatron, no Starscream, no Soundwave, no Shockwave. I mean, I felt like they could have put the Decepticons in here, but either way it goes, I still like the fact that we get to see, Scourge, who else? Nightbird and Battletrap, which, to me, I had to think to myself, there are just three of them, and every time the Autobots and Maximals meet up with them, these three Terracons have folded them every chance they get. Like, come on, man. Come on, Prime. You're supposed to be the dude. Prime's attitude in here was he was kind of like a Debbie Downer just a bit. Not that uplifting Prime that we're used to that gives those speeches, and he just wasn't that uplifting Prime to me, in my opinion. I mean, of course, when he and Scourge fight at the end, he does win, which leads me to other down is I really hate it when Prime fights the major antagonist in every film. He always has to have help and assistance. Prime's animated versions never had to have help at all. He can go one-on-one with Galvatron, one-on-one with the Predaking or with Megatron, no problem. But in live action films, he has to have help from Sam Witwicky, who killed Megatron in the first Transformers film, had to get an upgrade from Jetfire in the second film. Third film, he had to have Megatron help him beat Sentinel Prime. Fourth film, Mark Wahlberg had to help him beat Lockdown. Fifth film, I don't remember a damn thing about it. It just sucked. That's how bad it was. But in this film, you had to have Noah, who kind of looked like a Dollar General version of Iron Man when Mirage like loaned him some of his body parts. You just had to see it. The footage is out there, whatever. You thought Mirage was killed by Scourge until you find that he's alive, and then he merges with Noah. And he kind of looks like that meme of where it goes, hey, Mom, I want to go see Iron Man. And your mama tells you, oh, we got Iron Man at home. And if you pull up the image, what I'm talking about, you'll see exactly what I mean. And him helping Optimus go up against Scourge, I'm like, yeah, they really need to stop this trope. I would have been better off impressed if they would have had Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal team up to fight Scourge, because I felt like also that they called it Rise of the Beast, but I didn't see too much character development with the Maximals in there. It was cool to see them, but I felt like it was more like Autobot focus than it was Maximal focus. I would like to see more interactions between the two. I mean, they interacted well, but I would prefer if they would have had their final fight set up to where Optimus Prime and Optimus Prime would fought Scourge instead of Optimus Prime getting help from Noah. He could have helped do something else, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that I actually enjoyed this film, because there's a big kid inside of me that grew up watching this in the 80s and in the 90s. And that's what my downs. Now, if you don't already know, spoiler, get to the end of the movie. Of course, the Autobots and the Maximals, along with Noah and Elena, help defeat Unicron and get rid of the Terracons. Now, Elena finally gets her recognition as a museum artifacts. I forget what they call them, one of those people that discover artifacts. Archaeologist, there he goes, an archaeologist. And Noah, he finally gets recognition in his job interview that he goes. And the guy tells him, hey, your resume is kind of thin there, guy. Oh, trust, we know all about you and your friend Elena going down to Peru to help these giant robots defeat other giant robots and save the world. So we're going to take care of your mom, and we're going to take care of your little brother. You ain't got to pay for nothing. You help save the world, we're going to take care of you. And he's like, who are you? Hands him a card, and on the back of the card, it says G.I. Joe. That's right, you heard it, G.I. Joe. We're getting a live-action Transformers G.I. Joe film. And if you ask me, I'm all for it. We have crossovers with everything else. Anybody that says that's stupid, just keep in mind that a crossover film like that was meant for guys my age that grew up watching these in the 80s and the 90s. Not for everybody, but for this big kid right here, it is for me. So with that being said, that is my after-action review of Transformers Rise of the Beast. So, till next time, feel free to comment down below, like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do, whoever watches this. And see you on the next one.